In this video, we're talking about solar Facebook ad strategies that can elevate your lead generation game in 2025. Hey, welcome guys back to another video on the best solar channel on the freaking planet. My name is Ivan, and for the past 5 years, I've dedicated my life and soul into the solar industry. I think I know a thing or two when it comes to generating solar leads, and on this video, I'm going to tell you all the tips and tricks you could take away and start running Facebook ads literally today, because it is not very hard. You just need to know a few rules. You basically need to know how to play the game right. And I'm going to show you all these different things that you can apply into your ad strategies today to make sure that you're actually getting the most out of them. And the strategies I'm about to go over can be used if you're an agency and running ads for your clients and you just want to get them better results so they stay longer with you, or if you're just a solar company or a rep or a sales organization that just want to boost up their lead generation efforts and make sure that their team actually has filled calendars with appointments. So it doesn't matter what your situation is, you're going to be far better off with these strategies. So make sure to stay to the very end. So without further ado, let's get right in. The first thing you got to remember is that with Facebook, we've come a long way. 5 years ago, the Facebook's AI, the algorithm, wasn't as strong as it is today in 2024. Now, what you need to remember is that back then, interests were actually very, very important. Like, you have to put, the homeowners' interest and people, and things homeowners would be interested in, and single family homeowners and this and that. So you had to do all these different types of audiences and tests and this and that. And there's still an element of this going on today, but I'm going to tell you this, and take it from me. The best way to target people is not by choosing an audience from the Facebook options. Now I'm going to tell you this, the best way to target homeowners on Facebook is actually not by interest. So choosing the different options, different interests on Facebook. What it is actually the best way to target people is with your ad itself. And let me explain what that means. The process of generating leads is almost like going fishing, where okay, in the back of your mind, the type of fish that you're going to be going after today, right? For the most part, you're only going after for like 1 or 2 types of fish. I'm not a fisherman, but I tend to know that, hey, if we go into a certain pond, there's a certain type of fish that hangs in there, right? Or if we go deep sea fishing and we're going to go after, tuna or whatever, these type of fish, they like a certain type of bait, which means, hey, if I'm going to go after a certain type of fish, then I need to prepare that certain type of bait that fish actually likes. And it's the same thing with lead generation. The best way to target homeowners is by actually doing things in your advertising. So it could be copy, headline, creative that would attract somebody of your ideal avatar. So it's not by actually the interest itself, it is by the creative, headline, and copy. But most importantly, the creative. Now, how you're going to target people is, first of all, you're not going to do an image ad. There's still a lot of people that do image ads, but I'm going to tell you the best quality leads are going to come from video type ads. Remember to shoot the video vertical, okay? So it's not horizontal, it's vertical. Why vertical? So it takes more real estate on the scroll. So when you're scrolling, instead of being able to pass it by with one scroll, you might have to scroll one more time. So you have that extra split second on the scroll for you to be able to catch their attention, which is extremely important. And why? Because most advertising happens on our phones. So you need to be able to optimize on mobile a lot better than for desktop versions, because I don't even know if people go on their desktop on Facebook anymore. Most of the time it's just strictly phone. Now my next rule is we got to keep it under a minute. I don't care how many things we got to include in that ad. It's going to happen in less than a minute, okay? Especially if it's a solar ad. I mean, there's nothing really you can talk about that will go over a minute. If you're really going over a minute and you're saying, I can't get all the things that I want to say in the video in less than a minute, then you're doing something wrong. And I actually have a video on this channel showing you exactly what the 7 steps of making a video style ad work on Facebook and YouTube really is. So you can go and check that one out it will be in the feed of this channel. But what I'm trying to say is that you don't need to go over a minute. A good ad is somewhere between 30 to 45 seconds. You have a good hook. You know, you're able to keep their attention, so they actually keep watching the ad. You tell them who qualifies and who doesn't qualify, so you solidify your ideal avatar supposedly watching the video. And then you have a strong outro of the ad, so a strong call to action. Okay, so that's on the style and the length of the video. So it's vertical and then up to a minute. The next thing you got to focus on is think about, okay, who am I really targeting? Who is my ideal audience? How old are they? So the ideal audience for solar is 30 to 65 plus. You don't need to target anybody before 30. Even if somebody has a house before 30 years old, they're not thinking about, you know, their bills that much. Most people are actually not able to afford a house before 30 because they don't have a stable job, they don't have this, they don't have that. So they have a lot of shit still to figure out, and they're on the move a lot more before 30 than after they hit 30. And so the ideal audience for solar is usually between 45 and 65. But for the sake of targeting on Facebook, you're going to keep it 30 to 65 plus. Now, the next thing is you got to remember that the purpose of you doing the ad is being able to target the right individual and also get the cheapest cost per lead. And the cheapest cost per lead you're going to be able to achieve with a lead form. We used to do a combination of lead forms and landing pages, fancy forms, and things like that. I'm telling you, the best thing you could possibly do is do a lead form. Facebook does not like it when you actually take people off its platform, because Facebook wants to keep users on the platform. Because why? If Facebook users stay on the platform, it just means that they have more eyeballs for longer, so that those same people can be exposed to different type of ads so that they can actually earn more money. Because every time they serve you an ad, they actually charge the advertisers something, so they earn money that way. So they want to keep you on the platform. They want to keep users on the platform. So do not try to make fancy landing pages or anything else like that. This is a simple solar lead form. Now, it's got to be congruent with what the offer is, and maybe I'll do a separate video on what offers you can run. But for the sake of generating leads, all you need is a lead form, okay? Keep it simple, a few questions. You can have credit in there. You can have questions that are related to the type of offer that you're running or the angle that you're running. Keep it super simple, all right? And then once the lead form is filled out, then you should always have some way of them to schedule a call. So to me, that's not a solid appointment, but still, it still means that, hey, the homeowner raised their hand, right? Which means a higher intent on their side. So when I talk to my team, I always tell them, listen, I don't consider this a solid appointment. Why? Because nobody has actually spoken to this individual. I don't know what their intent is. They might be just playing around, and they might be a time waster. So for me, I take it as, hey, that person raised their hand and they want to talk to somebody, right? So I consider this a higher intent more than a solidified appointment. But you should always make sure that you have that step included in there, so you can actually see who are the highest intent leads of all the ones you got. And the last thing is, you always want to target the entire state. Do not fall into the trap of targeting people from individual areas. Why? Because if you target a certain zip code or a certain city, the chances are that that lead cost is going to cost you a lot more money. So you're going to end up overpaying for a lead than if you were to target the entire state. And I'll tell you a different reason why targeting the entire state could be a lot better. Because if you have an installer that can service the entire state like we do, what happens is that a lot of the rural areas do not get knocked by door knockers as much. And so those people don't even get talked to as much as, you know, the people in the metropolitan areas. And so for that reason, there's going to be a lot less competition. So actually targeting the entire state do not only raise your chances of closing a deal because there's not that much competition, but also your lead cost is going to be super significantly lower than if you were to target an individual area. All right, so these are my top rules for running ads on Facebook. I hope that was helpful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again in the next video.